Gagliardi to the stage. I was in a show where they made me cut my hair for the show. It was my senior year of high school. This was the worst, best haircut I've ever had. So I was a senior. They told me I had to get this very business-like haircut. So I'm 18. I'm a full-grown adult. So I asked my mom to schedule the appointment for me. Yes, it was a terrible idea. My mom lives a much more hardcore life than me. She's the type of mother who punches an orange, puts it in a cup, calls that juice. Pulp's good for you. So she schedules the appointment at this fine establishment called the Hair Mob. Now you and I would assume that the Hair Mob has nothing to do with an actual mob, and you and I would be incorrect. So the day of the haircut rolls around. I left school early, and I'm on the way to the Hair Mob. But I had to stop at home first because we had a picture of the haircut we wanted to bring to the Hair Mob so they know what the haircut looked like. And now I had a lovely picture of Ryan Gosling because he looks like me. And so I want to print it out. So I set it up on the computer, I click print. I'm printing this in black and white. Now the printer says there's no colored ink, but I'm printing this in black and white. The printer says, oh no, you can't. There's no colored ink, which is really cool. So it takes me like 10 minutes to figure this out, man. I'm just sitting on this printer trying to get this printed out. And finally it comes out, it looks like a Rorschach test. I don't know if you guys did this psychology test for the ink blots and they're like, interpret what this is. So I'm throwing up a prayer that the haircutter's like, it's humanoid. So I'm back in the car, I'm driving to the Hair Mob, and I arrive at the salon. Now, the Hair Mob shared a building with an all-seasons rental. It's in the back of the all-seasons rental, so you have to walk through an all-seasons rental to get to the Hair Mob. This was the first red flag. Do you guys know all-seasons rental? It's a casino for Midwestern dads who just get sucked in to look at things that they're never going to buy. So I enter the all-seasons rental. There's a couple dads there posted up in their New Balance shoes. They're very comfy. And they're circled around this new lawnmower like it's a pile of cocaine. And I don't know, they have like 7 pedals, which is interesting because you only have 2 feet. So I shuffle past them, and I come to the back, and there's a set of unmarked doors in the back. Now, I'm assuming that this is the entrance to the Hair Mob. I open the door. It is a windowless room with about 10 to 15 women who go silent and hostile as I enter. Not a single one of them knew I was in that building. So the lady at the front desk, she sees me, and she's like, "Can I help you?" I was like, yeah. An appointment, a scheduled appointment. I was glad we agreed. But then I was thinking quickly, so I added, I'm in a musical actually, and just like that, my sexuality is ambiguous. So she was like, oh, come. Everybody relax. And there's something to come. So then she's like, so who's the appointment for? And I said, my mother scheduled the appointment, so I believe the name will be Barbara Gagliardi. And she's like, wonderful. Please sign this waiver. And she slides it across to me. And then she gives me a pen that she dipped in hand sanitizer. She literally dipped the pen in a bucket of hand sanitizer. I may as well have poured a cup of water on this piece of paper. I don't know what I signed, by the way. I couldn't read it. So I signed it, and I pushed it back. And then she calls out, Barb's appointment, and a side door opens on the Hair Mob. I couldn't see it when I walked in. And out walks the head honcho of the entire Hair Mob. Her name was Nan. She was the Hair Mob boss. And she beckons me over to a chair. I say beckons, it was a command. I sit in the chair, and she brings out her assistant, Megan. Pardon. Now, thank God Megan wasn't cutting my hair, because if her hair cutting skills were half as schizophrenic as her personality, I probably would have died. I feel like if I had shown Megan my Ryan Gosling Rorschach test, she would be like, yes, I see a man stabbed 27 times in the chest. Moving on. She was an enigma. She looked both 13 and 45 at the exact same time. She had this like shockingly childlike face and the personality of like straight out of Dance Moms. Do you guys know Dance Moms? Yeah. It's a show where mothers. Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. These are just women who happen to have children. They compete who sucks the most at raising those kids. Megan was the dance mom and the dance daughter at the exact same time. Say there was like a freak accident, the doctor was like, Megan, we're gonna have to fuse you with your 10-year-old daughter if you want to live. Megan was like, yes, do that. You'll now be uncomfortable to look at. I'm harping on Megan. I need you guys to understand this was a real person. I was mostly lucid during this whole experience, and it didn't help. She paired a black pantsuit with a Wolf Girl t-shirt and spiky hair. By the way, there's a certain age where spiky hair doesn't look good on a woman, and that's always. But she wasn't cutting my hair. No, she was the surgeon's assistant to Nan. She like got all the tools. She was the mafioso, the hair model. And so the haircut began like any other. Megan produced a steak knife. And used that steak knife like my hair was a victim. She was just super efficient and vigorous. I did my best not to move at all because I didn't want to get scalped. And it sort of continues like this, and I'm virtually silent the whole time. Megan tried a couple of times to bring me into the conversation, but I deflected every time because their topics of conversation were weird as hell. For instance, she told me about the list she had of buildings her friends and her wanted to burn down. Yes, I also wouldn't have told that. They were condemned, so I guess it's okay. So I avoided every time she tried until she said something unforgivable. She turns to Nan and she said, "You know, I think we should wax his eyebrows." No, I don't think we should. Now, to some women in the room, maybe that sounds reasonable. To the guys in the room, that is a threat. No guy is at a haircut. They're like, you know, this is nice. Can we make it painful? Time. Let's make it excruciating. So I wasn't sold, and she could tell I wasn't sold. So she tried to convince me. She was like, you know, I had a friend in high school who let me wax his eyebrows once, and he did not regret it. Now, I had a feeling her friend and I were of differing opinions. So I said no. But unfortunately, the hair mom boss, Nan, she was very much on board, and she said, "Oh, but you have to." I didn't know if I actually had to. I started getting nervous. I signed a waiver earlier. I just didn't want to push their buttons. They were holding a lot of weapons. But so I very confidently said, maybe. That was the wrong answer. Because maybe means sure, and sure means yes, and there was no going back. So the haircut finished, and they dragged me to the back of the hideout. I passed all the regulars. They were all reading Cosmopolitans, which was pretty cool. And they strapped me into this chair, and they're the flurry of preparation. They had this like cauldron of water and also wax that they were heating. I had no idea what was going on. But the whole time I was trying to calm myself down. You know, I'm like, everything's gonna be fine. Nan knows what she's doing. She's professional. Everything's gonna be fine. The haircut looks great. Everything's gonna be fine. And then Nan turned to Megan and she was like, you know, I think we should train you in on this guy. You know? I've heard more cheerful sentences at a funeral. Megan agreed, and before I could protest, she was leaning over me, and she had a dental tweezers covered in wax. That's the only thing I could describe it as. And she started smearing it all over my eyebrows. Felt like too much. So I was like, "We're just doing a little bit, right?" And they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be fine." And I was like, "It's just around the edges, right?" And they're like, "You have nothing to worry about." Now I feel like I had something to worry about. Megan had the same look in her eyes as when when she was talking about the buildings she wanted to. So the moment of truth comes, and she's leaning over me. She's gonna pull the wax off, and she starts counting down like a psychopath. Like way too much enthusiasm. She's leaning over me, and she's like, 10, 9. Yeah, she started way too high. Well, we got there eventually. So she gets it. 3, 2, 1. She was silent for a moment. Now, you have to remember, her reputation's on the line here from that one guy she waxed his eyebrows at one time. So she's silent, and then she breaks the silence very subtly with a, oh, that was way too much. My head was just like the blitzkrieg. It was just sheer panic. And so she tried to cover it up with going for the other one. She tears it out right away. She's like, it's just way too much. My knee-jerk reaction was to scream, but I couldn't. I was in too much pain. So I laughed. It was this sick, manic laugh. He was afraid of dying, I guess. I just didn't want them to know I was in pain. I wanted to leave a hero to these women. And I didn't want to leave in pieces out the back, like I'm sure any man who enters their covenant shows weakness does. So I walked out of the hair mountain. I skipped out. I ran out of the hair mountain. And it was a pretty great haircut. And some semblance of my eyebrows, which was pretty good. Yeah, and that was the best, worst haircut of my life. There's no smooth way to end that. Yeah, you're good.